Welcome to the High School Huddle on the Dodge Sports Desk at Opubco Studios. My name is Brandon Chatmon. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman. And Ryan, you got to see Tuttle defeat Clinton last week. What impressed you the most about Tuttle?
Well, Tuttle's line, Bryce Paco Moore went down early in that game with an injury. Ethan Biddy came in and did a really good job, but the key to that was the way that Tuttle was able to control the line of scrimmage, and they did that all night, just sort of ground the game out on the ground, and they ended up coming up with a big win there.
All right. Well, there are several quality games this week. Which one kind of piques your interest?
I think you've got to go to Carl Albert at Guthrie, right? Carl Albert last year played Guthrie as tight as anyone, 24-21, despite Guthrie's phenomenal offense. This year, Guthrie's not quite as dominant, but they're still very good. I'm really looking forward to a couple of the matchups in this game, especially Guthrie's Dante Foster, the wide receiver, great wide receiver, probably one of the best in the state, going against Datewan Lowe and every other member of that Carl Albert secondary. They have the toughest in the state.
All right, speaking of good matchups, if you had to pick one game just based strictly off a one-on-one matchup, which game would that be this week?
Well, it'd be that game. With that matchup, not only Datewan Lowe, but they've also got Ozell Littleton, Markel Walker, Trey Porter, the best secondary I've seen in high school football as a group, the best four starters. And Guthrie has a couple other receivers who are pretty good too. So that'll be a fun matchup. But also the next night, McGinnis-Douglas. Just seeing that McGinnis's defense, they've really come along the last few weeks, and to see how they're going to match up with the speed of Antoine Smith, Destin Stewart, and some of the guys that Douglas has.
All right. Well, state championships in volleyball and softball continue this weekend. Ryan, which volleyball tournament you feel like will be the most competitive?
I think in volleyball you've got to go with 6A. Edmond Santa Fe's there. They're the favorite, but they lost to Tulsa Union earlier in the season. I believe they split. You've also got Edmond Memorial, Edmond North challenging. You can never count out Jinx in volleyball, so it's pretty wide open there.
All right, and as far as softball, which one is the most competitive?
Well, I go back to 6A. In volleyball, we talked about Edmond. In softball, it's really Moore. Westmore and Moore right at the top every year, it seems like. No different this year. Moore's got a little bit tougher bracket this year because they got Broken Arrow in that side. Westmore, I think, has a clearer path to the finals. But if it's a Moore war in the softball championships, it'll be a fun one.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your expertise. Thank you for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week on the Dodge Sports Desk as we continue to provide the best high school coverage in the state.